Oh, hi! Strider here, bringing you all the latest and greatest tips and tricks from Pokemon Masters X. If you're joining us today, then hopefully you've been following along. This is the conclusion of the complete, free-to-play, minimally invested walkthrough of Champion Stadium Season 5. Today, we're going to tackle the head honcho. We're going after, Blue himself. Right, so Blue has his own set parameter that's always to use physical attacks and that they're going to be powered up for opponents and allies, which, that might throw a wrench in my in my plans. But he is weak to fire, and luckily there are a few fire type free-to-play story characters. When you go against Blue, you have the option to, he has the one set parameter, but you also have the option to choose your own parameter too, using sync moves quickly, which you don't want to use when he has Pidgeot, but today he's got Executor, so that might work. Using special attacks kind of doesn't make sense, I guess, because of the other parameter. But maybe it will work. But the one that I think I'm going to do today is the status conditions, because I'm worried about his physical attacks. This stage does have actually a lot of physical attacks, and those are going to be boosted with his parameters. So if you burn an enemy, their physical attack drops significantly, right? So, and the pairs that I want to use today are our free-to-play fire pairs, right? If you go through the story, then you will have, you'll be able to get all of these players without spending a dime, without even pulling or wasting any of your gems, right? Let's take a look at them. I think what we're going to do is, let's see the, no, not the gear, no gear. Although if you have gear, use it. I'm not recommending not to use gear. I just am seeing for people that maybe don't have time what they can look at. Torchic has decent defense, especially when invested. Flint does not, but he balances it with power reserves. I think we're going to make Flannery our tank, though, because we're going to use... Maybe we should save her. We want to use her as a sync nuke. She's going to burn, 90% chance to burn, and she can raise her own defense. So we're going to try to raise her own defense to stay alive, and she has a 1-bar spam, which is nice. She also gets impervious, so none of her stats can be lowered. I don't have any lucky skills on her. Let's go over to Flint. Flint is going to be our main striker. He has Fire Punch, which is a physical attack. 51 base power, 2-bar. But I think the move to go for is Fire Blast. It's 127 power, which is more than double the physical attack. This is a tough call. It depends on gauge. This is also 85% accuracy, which I'm not fond of, whereas Fire Punch is 100%. We might try both. He can boost his own crit, which is nice, and he can boost his own attack and special attack, 2 stages, and he gets power reserves. So just like the other stages, we should be able to survive 1 enemy sync, but not 2. I don't have any lucky skills. They do have type skills, so that will be nice. And finally, down to Torchic. Torchic can boost his own speed with Flame Charge, so that's probably what we're going to be spamming. No reason to use Flamethrower. It does have a little bit more power, but I think he's not our main damage dealer. Plus the physical attack should be boosted according to the parameters. He can boost everybody's attack, and he can raise critical hits and special attack. So he's a pretty good offensive support. He has haste, so he doesn't lose his speed. No lucky skill on Torchic as of yet. Alright, so let's just get into it. We're gonna buff with Torchic. We're gonna do 1 buff with one of each of his buffs, I think, and then we'll go into spamming his attacks, because Torchic should cover everything else to get him to max crit and max attack on both stats, physical and special. And then we might fit in a few flame charge. We'll have to look at gauge, but you know, that's the trade-off. We need to get that speed up, but that uses gauge, and we want to be doing damage. Alright, let's just jump into it. I'm hoping that the burn combined with the super effectiveness and the type skills should be enough to get this stage done without any healing.
A few moments later.
Alright, new strategy. After trying a couple times, it seems like Flint is not even going to survive one sink without a buff. So we need to take out the center before it sinks. Which should be okay, because with the parameters, the enemies, even though they span AoE moves, the burn should take them down significantly, and we should be able to, we can survive at least one of the AoE moves. We should be able to do enough damage to let them kill themselves. It's gonna get in a too hot to handle for gauge and also for max crit at this stage. Another vital thing on this stage, if you're doing it, is you need to make sure you get in the God queue. So you need to queue a move, you need to queue this Will-O-Wisp on the pincer right before it queues up an attack.
Here we come.
Otherwise, you are in trouble. So target the pincer, doesn't matter if it's bench here. Target the pincer as you go in by tapping him, target him as you go into the sink, and get ready to spam that Will-O-Wisp. You have to wait a couple seconds and then hit it. Yes, perfect, just like that. Alright, we're just using the X attack because we want to make sure that we have enough gauge to get a couple fire blasts off. But we need, now that we're out of buffs, we're going to use a flame charge just to Alright, perfect. Everything's looking good.
Right on.
So don't queue a move with Torchic. You need enough gauge to do one fire blast here to finish him off. In fact, you don't want to use any other moves except for with Infernape for now. Ooh.
Do your thing.
We wanted to do that on this side here. That was good.
Leave it to me.
Against the pincer.
Do your best.
Oh, I don't know why I did the Ember. That wasn't a good idea. Because this earthquake will wipe us out.
Here we go. Quit.
Oh, we survived. Oh, we're good.
Do your thing.
Yes, as long as we survive one more earthquake.
Did you point out where I went wrong? Here we go.
We're all good in the hood, baby. Yeah! Good games. Power Reserve coming in clutch with the Fire Punch!
That was super hot. Great stuff.
And that's how the cookie crumbles. You know, just practice, warm up your fingers, do it at a time of day when you're alert and not tired. So that your reaction times are really good, because timing is very important. As you can see, working the sync, you get a 50% bonus on your attacks every time you use the sync, and so that can make a big difference. Do know when and when not to use gauge. Everything needs to work perfectly. It's kind of figuring out a puzzle. That's why I love this game so much. It's like a mind challenge. But that's it for our completely free-to-play, minimally invested, no gear, no grid pairs, all story units that you can get just by going through the story. Season number 5. Congratulations. So just as a recap, and I will do my usual suggested monsters because I know that a lot of people like to pull, and that's the whole point of the game, is to get the gacha units. But we went through, and our Hall of Fame for this week. Round 1 was Bruno, using an ungridded Mew, Meowstic, and Onyx. And then round 2 was ungridded Pikachu, Erika, and Hao. Although you probably I think you get free grids for Pikachu, so there's no reason that you shouldn't grid him and get the Master Healing. That would help a lot. But I just wanted to do all no grids, all no gear. Then we did Agatha. Agatha was a nice puzzle, taking out the left, working down the middle, and then taking out the right. Again, Lance was another puzzle to take out, to bring the sides down close enough so that we can take them out after we took out Lance, because we couldn't survive 2 sinks on either of those. I couldn't survive 2 sinks on any stage really, except for the first one. And then Blue, you saw what we did there. We didn't even allow him to sink because Flint is a little bit of a paper unit, but he can deal out massive damage, especially when he gets in the red and has power reserves. Let's take a look at my suggested pairs for this team. Obviously, if you have... not type skills. The game is really lagging today. Obviously, what? Lucky skills, type skills, sync grid. That's what I want to show. If you have red, it's a no-brainer. Red, Blaine, and Serena. Put them to sleep, set up the sun, and just go to town. GG. Ethan in the sun, Ethan and Blaine. Blaine's really easy to get, he's a 4-star. Ethan and Blaine work really well, as do Hilda and Blaine. Hilda, you might need to get her gridded, otherwise she'll kill herself. If you're lucky enough to get Ho-Oh, he works too. He can set up his own sun, but he needs support, defensive support. But you can see that my units here are not gridded, and no lucky skills on any of them. Torchic doesn't have an expanded grid, but I took off all the... even if they didn't have expanded grids, I took off their tiles. Just because I don't know where everybody's at. And you can see here, no gear as well on that team. I do recommend getting gear. I do recommend getting your grids, but I just want to show you that it's possible to clear even if you don't have the max units. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me in the comments below. I can give grid suggestions and also unit suggestions if you need. And as always, stay tuned for more updates, and I'll try to bring a lot more of these guides if they're popular. It seems to be helping people already, which is why I'm doing it, which it makes me really good to hear feedback. So if you've used this guide and it helped you, just send me a comment, let me know, give me a like, give me a subscribe, turn on notifications so that you know when I'm making more of these guides. I will also post a lot of my fun runs with invested units. Those are not guides, those are just for entertainment purposes to see what's possible in this game. Alright, but I hope you guys stay safe, stay happy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.